You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Hello and welcome to Business Access Television's coverage of the Business Breakfast for the upcoming publication of the Business Year 2019, the Jamaica issue. I'm Keneal Gale. We are here at the Hard Rock Cafe in Montego Bay, where business leaders and the movers and shakers from the second city are gathered. So let's go inside, mingle a bit, and then hit the stage.
So we are delighted to have you to participate and share in our second edition of the Business Year Breakfast in Mobay. So that many of you, we know, have traveled long distances to be here, and it serves as a reminder to us all just how important our work is. So as a natural lover and a big traveler, I truly think that Jamaica is one of the most beautiful places in the world. And what I can say is that I am proud to live, experience, and work in Jamaica, and I promised to myself that I would portray Jamaica as best as it deserves, and foremost to showcase to the world what is the special island has to offer. So on behalf of the business year, I sincerely thank and acknowledge every one of you extended help to us for making this event a grand success. So first of all, Hard Rock Cafe. So Andrea Dixon, thank you. Mr. Fausto Solano, our esteemed partner, Mrs. Diane Edwards from JAMPRO, and the overall team, a JAMPRO team that supported us since the very beginning, since 2017 when we arrived. And thanks to the help and their support, we are here in Jamaica and we can conduct our research. I also sincerely thank Mayor Omer Davis of Montego Bay, Mr. Douglas K. Gordon, founder of Canex, Mr. Watson Lawson, the president of Chamber as well, Mrs. Caroline Fisher, Mrs. Tishura Gibbs, Mr. Robin Russell, general manager of Deja Resorts, Mr. Juan Manuel Merilla, my country editor. So thank you for all of you for your support since the beginning. Sorry. And you, my dear guests, leaders of the country that are leading not only Montego Bay, but Jamaica to the future, I thank you and welcome you. So we stand for bringing Jamaicans together and making Jamaica a better place, a more unified and a more connected place. So most of us already know who we are and our role. However, for the new faces today, let me tell you what TBY is. So TBY is a global media group specialized in economic news and research on national economies and business intelligence. So we have operations in over 35 countries. Our head office is based in London. We have regional offices in Istanbul, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Mexico City. And we have a strong presence already in Latin America. So the way we carry out our research is that we meet face-to-face with the community of leaders, and we stay for an average of 6-8 months in the country to meet with the most strategic leaders and most prominent figures of the country from the main and most important companies, as well as the governmental officials from the public sector. So over 70% of our publication consists of interviews, so that we provide the most accurate and up-to-date perspectives from the experts themselves. So as some of you know, the business year arrived in 2017 for the first time in Jamaica. And we have been invited by the Jamaican Promotion Corporation to compile a comprehensive research on the economy of Jamaica, combining our international expertise with their local experience. So following the success of the first edition of the Business Year Jamaica, we just renewed the MOU with JAMPRO to continue our research and compile the second editions on Jamaican's economy. So our final goal is to create an annual publication about the economy of the country. Thus, our unique platform represents a who's who of the decision makers of the country. And the publication recirculates locally, in the region, but also abroad. On the businessyear.com as well, and since 2018, we have a partnership with Thomson Reuters Icon, Bloomberg Terminal, and Dungeons Factiva. So today, we are all together because we need your full cooperation and support to truly reach the stage where we can have prosperity for all. So we know that Jamaicans, people want to tell stories that are wrapped in their own textures, language, and humanity. So we are here to use our platform to change the global perception and narrative surrounding Jamaica to truly reflect the economic potential of the city and the island, and further highlight the vibrant and dynamic local leaders, such as yourself, that are moving Jamaica forward.
I am very happy to be here this morning on behalf of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce, because this breakfast launch is for us another opportunity to carry out what we believe is one of our natural duties, indeed obligations, as a chamber, that being support and aggressive marketing of this space that's otherwise known as the tourism capital of Jamaica. We recognize this is another grand opportunity, not just because what you will learn or have learned about the reach and the capabilities of the TBY, but this is a place where we have been before. That is to say, only last year the Chamber connected with TBY, and the results commencing with the showcasing at the Jamaica Investment Forum last year spoke volumes. In fact, yes, as Aska said, they officially launched their first publication, the TBY Jamaica, at the forum in partnership with JAMPRO. So let me also recognize the TBY for, one, the interest it has taken in Jamaica and the excellent way in which it had delivered on marketing this space and all the great products and services available. You know, I will admit, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm also very happy for the opportunity this morning for selfish reasons. Yes, selfish reasons. Because I've recognized that this partnership, this renewed connection, sits very well with three overarching strategic initiatives for my administration. Indeed, the 10-point strategic plan for which this administration was mandated to execute on are all within the areas, namely member centricity, modernization, and advocacy. Member centricity, here we want to zero in directly on our membership, on how we can facilitate direct benefits. We had and we still have in mind the sweet deal access, which we are now referring to as the member-to-member discount program. And I encourage all our members to sign on and don't be left out of this pool. We are seeing to the delivery of worthwhile, cost-effective training programs to benefit the members and their staff. This, we know, will have direct benefits in sharpening a critical asset for most, if not all, businesses. And I'm referring to human resources. And I want to recognize Dollar Financial for the sponsorship of our first training program. We expect to arrange a second one in November with a focus on digital marketing. And again, we encourage our members to use the opportunity provided by the Chamber. Member centricity is also about improving networking opportunities and improved flow and regularity of communications amongst our members. That's also being done through our monthly meetings, which we have also now added a new twist of getting these away from the Chamber office facilities, but to different venues across this wonderful city. Hello, Pier 1. The TBY Jamaica connection gels with this mandate of member centricity, as what is top of mind for us is our membership being able to reap the benefits. Those who decide to utilize the services of TBY, they should reap the benefits from the tremendous reach and capabilities for which TBY Jamaica offers.
We take our first break here on Business Access Television's coverage of the launch of the business year. We are in Montego Bay, and when we come back, we will hear from the mayor of Montego Bay, Homer Davis.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of the launch of the 2019 Business Year publication, where Jamaica will be getting another solar issue. We will now hear from Montego Bay's Mayor, Councillor Homer Davis. Let's go to the stage.
Montego Bay, our little city, our friendly city, our beautiful city, carries the title. And it's not something from my imagination. It is something that has been recognized that we are the fastest growing city in the Caribbean. And for that, you, the members of the business community, you, the members of the Chamber of Commerce, and those who are involved in tourism, ought to give yourself a round of applause for that. Hadn't it been for you to take a risk, investment is a risk, then we would not be seeing what we're now seeing in Montego Bay as it relates to development. So, Montego Bay, the status as it is now, is due largely to work being done in marketing Jamaica as the best place for almost everything. I could say tourism, I could say BPO industry, I could say other investments, tourism-related entities. But what stands out is that Montego Bay is the preferred location. And it is a preferred location because I tell people that Montego Bay is an hospitality area. We have learned to welcome people. It doesn't matter where they are. As a matter of fact, my friend there, said when he's in Montego Bay, he feels more welcome. He feels as if he's a part of a community. There's an intimacy with Montego Bay, and that is why Montego Bay is really the preferred location. You've been here for 2 weeks, you're no more stranger. You know just about everybody. You know about just all the eatery, all the drinking spots, all the place to be. And that is a good thing with Montego Bay. So we enjoying what we're now enjoying. It's not an accident. It is a culture. It is a culture that I've developed over the years. Because I came here 40 years ago, and that was the culture where the people of Montego Bay embraces their visitors, whether they are local, they are foreigners. They embrace you. And that is the thing with Montego Bay.
I'd like to start by commending TBY and the JAMPRO team for the initiative to launch the publication last year and the push for a second year. As the mayor said, Montego Bay has been consistently one of the fastest growing economies in the English-speaking Caribbean, and it's important that that be highlighted and presented on a platform that will spur further investment into our future. Last year, I was very active in supporting the business year's objectives because we saw it as an opportunity to highlight some of our companies and entrepreneurs, as well as to promote business in the city. And I would like to say thank you to the TBY team for accepting my proposal last year to ensure that Montego Bay had a special focus in the publication. It would be remiss of me not to also mention that I'm especially grateful for the special attention the city received at the launch of the event at the Jamaica Investment Forum in June of this year. Wearing the hat of I Love Mobay, I am delighted that the business year will now be giving internship opportunities to our youth to allow them to work on a publication of this caliber, reaching a global audience. Business leaders, I implore you this year to facilitate the team from TBY. Ensure your businesses are represented in the publication and your industries are highlighted. I Love Mobay congratulates the business year once again. We wish for you much success with the 2019 publication.
What was your major takeaway from the presentations this morning?
Well, the fact that we're covering Jamaica again for this year. We did last year, and it was good highlight, good focus, and we know that there's a laser focus kind of interest now on Jamaica. We have done very well in the Doing Business report, in the Global Competitiveness Index, and so this, will take us further in positioning and presenting Jamaica as a great place for investments.
So what are some of the opportunities do you see for your industry in particular from a publication such as this?
Well, as you know, we're in the global services business. So our interest is customers looking to do business with existing providers, new entrepreneurs, new businesses in Jamaica. So anything that promotes the capabilities of Jamaica, that highlights the growth and development and the complementary businesses that support global services is good for our industry.
In your presentation, you spoke about the importance of a magazine and publication such as this to Jamaica and to Montego Bay. How will you be ensuring or encouraging your members to try to leverage this type of exposure?
Yeah, well, look, we as a chamber, we always understand the power of marketing, the power of getting your message out. You could have the very best product. You could have, it's the best thing since sliced bread. But if you're not getting your message out to the marketplace, it really means nothing. So we encourage and we will encourage our members to jump on this opportunity. It's, as I had said earlier this morning, that it's a place where we have been before because we did it last year. It was highly successful. You've seen the product, and they're also on the World Wide Web, and you can view it there. And they have the capacity to get your message out globally. We encourage our members to look at it and to see how well they can exploit the opportunity.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV. We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
From this type of publication, this type of exposure, what are some of the industries that you would want to see attracted to Montego Bay from these investors?
Well, Montego Bay is known for tourism, the BPO industry, that one is growing, farming, which I think we have a very good opportunity for not Montego Bay, but for St. James, especially the southern section of St. James where the farming lands are located. Because we have a service industry, and a great part of that service industry and this hotel industry is that the visitors who come here, they eat and they drink. I am not sure, or I could say that I don't think that we are really taking full advantage of the supply chain.
So you're saying there's a lot of untapped potential there?
I think so. I know so. Because from time to time you will hear things. Hotels have to be bringing in this type of agricultural produce, this type of agricultural produce. But with what I've been hearing from Minister Shaw, who is the agricultural minister, and J.C. Hutchinson, it tells me that there's a thinking now taking place that our farmers need to understand that farming is a business. And if you're running a business, it has to be run efficiently, effectively, and it runs in a way in which you can make profit and you can sustain and maintain your family and your life.
Tell us a little bit about SolarBuzz.
Well, SolarBuzz is a energy company focusing on renewable energy. So we install mostly solar projects for residential and commercial clients. We also do a lot of glass glazing and tinting to help reduce heat loads coming into properties to also reduce their energy consumption.
How do you see a company like yours and other similar companies benefiting from Jamaica getting another issue of the business year?
I think that anytime a publication like the Business Year focuses on Jamaica, they're so prominent that it shows us in a very good light worldwide, and business people around the world see Jamaica as a viable investment. So I think it's a tremendous opportunity, and I think we should be very grateful to have them focus on our island.
What kind of investment do you see, or potential investors do you see being attracted by this publication in terms of to come and invest in Jamaica?
Well, I mean, I think we'll continue to see the BPO market grow. I definitely see the energy sector, which I'm focused in, growing. I mean, when I read through the last publication, there was just so many different opportunities that I think that we're going to get a variety of investors looking on the island and just seeing a tremendous amount of opportunities. Even when I read through it, I was getting ideas in other sectors that I'd love to be a part of, but you just can't do everything. So.
Are there also opportunities for future collaboration between local companies and overseas companies?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we collaborate with overseas companies all the time. So, you know, you have to understand your expertise and where you are in your business cycle. When Solar Buzz was just starting out, I knew that I needed some guidance. So I partnered with bigger companies than myself from overseas, and I cut them in on the deal, and they helped to train us and bring us up to standard of international standards where we are now. So yes, you know, strategic partnerships are a great opportunity to grow and become viable on your own.
Tell us a little bit about what are some of the expectations for the 2019 Jamaica publication?
So our expectation is to portray the economy of Jamaica and meet face-to-face with the community of leaders and investors of Kingston, Montego Bay and the whole part of the island, in order to highlight the business opportunities, but also highlight the economic trends of the country. And our final goal, you know, is to create an annual publication about the economy of Jamaica, and as well as attracting and boosting the economy of Jamaica, but attracting as well foreign direct investment in the country.
For those who aren't familiar with the publication, tell us a little bit about your audience and other publications, other countries that you've done publications for.
Okay, so thank you. Very good question. So actually our readers are investors, our leaders. So all the publication is read by general managers, CEOs, and all the community of leaders from the private and public segments, the main important companies as well as governmental officials, ministers and prime ministers, leaders of the country. And we reach out 9,350 readers in Jamaica and 88,000 readers internationally, as well as we distribute the publication online on thebusinessyear.com. And since 2008, which is a breakthrough in the history of the business year, is that now we have a partnership with Thomson Reuters Icon, Bloomberg Terminal, and Dow Jones Factiva.
How much of a big deal is this for Jamaica, the Jamaican economy, and businesses in Jamaica?
So it's a great way to give the voice of Jamaicans himself and experts himself, and showcase the strengths and the opportunities of Jamaica and the business opportunities in the international scene.
And that's how we end our coverage of the Business Breakfast for the publication of the Business Year's 2019 Jamaica issue. We hope you enjoyed our coverage. I'm Kenil Gale. Pleasant viewing.
Are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Did you know that between 2014 and 2018, 145 persons, 29 of them children, lost their lives by fire? Did you also know that fire has left over 11,000 Jamaicans homeless and another 430 persons suffering injuries? But the most shocking statistic is that 10% of the calls received by the Jamaica Fire Brigade are pranks. Yes, persons are abusing the emergency lines of the fire services. And the sad thing is, firefighters cannot determine whether or not the call is a prank or a genuine case. We have to do better as a country if we are to achieve First Nation status by the year 2030. Let's start today by being more efficient with our public resources.
Blood as it faces increased demand driven in part by dengue fever infections. There have been a reported 5,468 dengue cases so far in 2019, which has helped to increase the demand for blood products over recent months. Acting Director for the National Blood Transfusion Service, Dr. Alicia Tucker, points out that patients with severe dengue may experience low blood platelet count and require transfusion, as platelets help with clotting of the blood if there is bleeding. Other conditions, including trauma cases, are also contributing to the demand for blood. Dr. Tucker says that an average 5 to 10 donors turn up at any one of the island's blood collection centers daily, but this is not enough to meet the increased demand. Persons are therefore being encouraged to visit the blood bank at 21 Slipen Road in Kingston or any of the 9 other collection centers across the island. These centers are at the Port Antonio, St. Anne's Bay, Maypen, Mandeville General, Cornwall Regional, Falmouth, and Savlamar hospitals. The other 2 are at the University Hospital Blood Bank and the National Chest Hospital, which accepts donations only on Saturdays. There's also a mobile unit stationed at the Cornwall Regional Hospital to facilitate blood collection during the hospital rehabilitation process. Based on Jamaica's population, the target number of blood units should be 50,000. The National Blood Transfusion Service is working towards the collection of 35,000 units by year-end. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is considering 2 pieces of legislation that will give permanence to the National Security Council. In Parliament Tuesday, Mr. Holness said a National Security Council Act was being developed. The Act will, among other things, give the Council structure while allowing the government and opposition the chance to discuss sensitive issues of national security outside of Parliament.
And the other is the National Intelligence Act, where we have developed a concept paper for that. And again, through the Internal and External Affairs Committee, the Minister of National Security can give the House a briefing.
Meanwhile, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says government has been strategic in its implementation of anti-gang measures to reduce crime on the island. Asserting that up to August 2019, there were 381 gangs operating in Jamaica, Minister Chang says their activities account for nearly 70% of murders and violent crimes in the country. To combat this, he says changes to the anti-gang law are being fast-tracked and the security forces have been given increased resources. Dr. Chang adds that the island's DNA database storage facility will be operational in a few weeks' time.
This will position Jamaica to have the utmost forensic, the most current forensic facility in the region. Given the urgency of the gang situation in Jamaica, the Commissioner of Police has embarked on the strengthening of the investigative capabilities of his team in order to ensure that the police can carry out their work to combat gangs more efficiently.
The Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO, has launched an online investment guide, or iGuide, for the country. It's an initiative of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, and the International Chamber of Commerce, which developed the iGuides to provide investors with up-to-date information on business costs, opportunities, and conditions in developing countries. Jamaica's iGuide represents a collaboration by UNCTAD, the ICC, Caribbean Association of Investment Promotion Agencies, Caribbean Export Development Agency, and JAMPRO.
It's to really provide the private sector useful information as background and as input data for their business case. It is a tool not only for foreign businesses but for local businesses to use to develop their business cases and present their projects.
The Jamaican iGuide, which is one of 29, can be accessed online at theiguides.org/public-docs/guides/Jamaica. The Ministry of Tourism is seeking to increase arrivals out of India and South America. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett says these regions are among the key markets to drive revenues in the sector.
India is now the fastest growing economy in the world, with a middle class that is growing. But more so, they have perhaps the best wedding market in the world. So Jamaica will be tapping into that, and we are working. We have a representative in India now, and work has already started in India.
With regards to South America, discussions have started to improve the number of visitors from that region beginning in December.
LATAM, which is the largest and most important carrier operating in the South American area, which is the equivalent of the American Airlines in North America, will inaugurate a flight which will have a 3 rotation into Montego Bay on the 1st of December.
Mr. Bartlett made the statements during a recent media briefing at his ministry in New Kingston. Tourism earnings are now estimated at $3.7 billion. The country is on track to receive over 4 million visitors for the calendar year, with 3.5 million tourists having already vacationed on the island. And finally, the deadline for persons to submit applications for the 2019 staging of the JIS Heritage Competitions has been extended to November 4 at midnight. The annual competition, which is in its 9th staging, is divided into 3 components: essay, poster, and photography. It targets students at the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. For this year's competition, students in all categories are required to demonstrate their understanding of reparation in the Jamaican context. All entrants must indicate the name of their institution and area of study being pursued. Relatives of JIS staff members are not eligible to participate, and students entering the competition should ensure that they keep a copy of their work. For further details, persons are being asked to contact the JIS at 876-926-35904, extension 2137 or 2132. They may also email heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, or heritageessay@jis.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
We want to end our Heritage Month celebrations with a bang. And what better place to do so than by visiting cultural attractions in the island's most easterly parish? See what we've unearthed in this next feature.
So Portland is this parish where the waters move to their own dialogue. These shapeless liquids shaping our ability to experience life around us. Of course, we keep returning to stunning but familiar blue or turquoise spaces we grew up around, but maybe never quite enjoyed how we're supposed to.
This is a parish where the water smooth like rum, Jamaican style.
Where life can be spicy like jerk chicken, the true flavor of Portland.
Or the culture can be exciting like we the people. 6 boy!
Luxurious resorts, the greenery of tropical plants, and the radiant sunlight, all of which of course make Portland a breathtaking place to see. But today, we're exploring the seas of the parish as Portland speaks to us with her unique language.
So ever since time, people have been seeking waterways to open new horizons or even driving coastlines in search of surf spots. Well, here at Boston Bay Beach, we found one of Jamaica's ideal surf spots, where surfing in the country began in the 1900s.
The traditional surfing that we have come to envision when the word is used of someone standing on a surfboard riding a big wave. The popularity of that in Jamaica actually probably took off somewhere in the late 1950s to early 1960s. Boston was one of the places where surfing was possible, and as such these surfers who lived in Kingston used to make a regular trip over to Boston Bay to enjoy the surf over there. Boston Bay became renowned as one of the surfing beaches in Jamaica, being the fact that it was on the north coast and it was a beautiful picturesque cove that also allowed for swimming as well as surfing. It became very popular as a surf destination. I could say that I've got my first personal surfboard in about 1974, and I've been surfing since that time until now. It enriched my life, and with a feeling when you're surfing, it's almost like flying, is what I would say. You feel like you're flying because you're moving over the surface of water like how God said they move over the surface of the water in Genesis 1.
And just in case you didn't know, Boston is an unusual but beautiful horseshoe-shaped bay that leads to the sea. It provides a lovely view. Surfing is not so popular in Jamaica, but at this beach, locals and tourists will be tempted by the tides to grab a surfboard and ride the waves. So if you're here, do it anyway.
My name is Anthony, and I've been surfing over 4 years now. Boston Bay Beach is one of the safest beaches to surf and swim and come and enjoy for good food that we have here as well.
Well, I've been surfing here at Boston Bay Beach for 9 years now and still going. Well, you have beautiful scenery, nice waves for surfing, and then you have nice jerk food all around and nice friendly people. So right now here at Boston Beach is like the most beautiful place on the island for surfing. Surfing kind of like refreshes my mind and after a stressful day and stuff like that. And teaching people to surf is also fun. It helps to put a smile on other people's face and stuff like that.
You're a newbie like myself, come to Boston Bay Beach and test the limits of gravity on the tides. Rent a surfboard, get yourself a surf instructor and surf out. I promise you, it will be an unforgettable experience. Now, on my journey in Portland, I discovered somewhere that's tucked away in the parish. Off the beaten track, a literal hidden gem, Turtle Bay.
And what makes Turtle Bay so unique? The bay is named for the turtle shell-shaped stone monument that magically rises from the water. Well, that's of course if you believe in magic. And there's an adventure to be had in trying to find your way there. Turtle Bay is a great place to just escape from the rattle and hum of things, chill and just enjoy the view of the lovely rocks.
Now, after exploring all those exhibition of colors, the ebb and flow of tides, and the beach bowing to our need for adventure, I mean, it's only fitting to relax a little above sea level. I'm on my way to Canopy House, and these are tree houses or hotels tucked away high up in the rainforest. So you can just imagine the lush surrounding. Birds tweeting, leaves rustling, sea splashing. But it's easy to see how all these come together to create one thing, beauty.
Canopy House is actually near the Blue Lagoon in Port Antonio. We are totally off the beaten track. It's hard to find us, and that's deliberate. It is not for everybody. Canopy House is pretty much in a rainforest. So we have totally wooden structures. We try to fit into the environment. So if you're not into natural scenery, if you're not into environmentally friendly properties, this is not for you. We use local people to make the houses and local wood. So sweetwood, almond tree, these are just some of the names. We actually exit into the Blue Lagoon, and we have a deck that you can jump off and swim at the Blue Lagoon. We have kayaks on property. I find though that the people from Europe enjoy Canopy a lot. And lately we have been getting a lot of group from Jamaica, because Port Antonio is now becoming the capital of getting away from it all in Jamaica.
It's no easy ride getting here, but it's a worthwhile trip. So Portland may be several different things for several different persons.
And for me, it's a parish with so much beauty to see, feel, and taste. Come and enjoy the whole Portland story, from the bush to the beach or the hill, whatever you will. Really, it's all here.
Look inside the drum. Those are the Aedes aegypti larvae, the one that causes dengue fever. If all of these larvae mature to be adults, and if the female larva bites someone with the dengue fever, it will acquire the dengue virus. And if that mosquito bites you, you will get it.
Dengue fever? Yes. Help prevent the spread of dengue.
Clean up your home and community.
Destroy mosquito breeding sites. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Prevent dengue fever.
We're still celebrating the men and women who we believe epitomize the best characteristics of our forebears. Some of them were acknowledged in the 2019 staging of the ceremony of investiture and presentation of national honors and awards at King's House. Take a look.
To be honest, I feel wonderful.
It's amazing to do something that you love for nothing more than love of country and the sport, and then to be thanked for it.
To be honored by a country is still a great event, in my view.
We are on the lawns of King's House as usual. It is the ceremony of investiture and installation of national honors and awards.
Dr. Julius Garvey is, of course, the son of Jamaica's first national hero, the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He served the Jamaica Broilers Group for 59 years and fostered the development of the contract farming model. We have 215 persons who will be receiving honors and awards here at King's House.
Professor the Honorable Gerald Cecil Layla, a member of the Order of Jamaica and a member of the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander, for his eminent contribution to Jamaica and the world's development through the application of science, technology, and innovation, and service to the public and private sectors. Mr. Robert Dixon Pickersgill, Member of Parliament for Public Service and Political Representation. for the display of bravery in saving the life of a police officer who under criminal assault was hit from his motorcycle. Ms. Foster rescued the injured officer and transported him to hospital.
I was just basically going towards 6 Mile on my way to get some duties done. Saw the police officer passing me on my right side. Saw a highest bus coming on the opposite direction, coming straight across. Saw both of them collide, and that's where the chaos started. Because he was flung from the bike broke in two, and he was there bleeding. Persons were also just taking pictures instead of providing some assistance. And he was actually asking persons to help him. But you know how persons are nowadays, they're just more interested in it for the social media. So transported him to the hospital. He recovered within about 2 to 3 months, and he's doing very well now.
I've spent 37 years within the Jamaican Force, and this is my first award.
Deputy Superintendent of Police Lorraine Palmer.
37 years of service given to the JCF by Deputy Superintendent Palmer.
Non-retirement, so at least they recognize my worth and my work and my conduct. So I'm so elated.
Mr. Bruce Rex Vernon James, for sterling contribution to the development of sports in Jamaica and especially in the field of athletics.
When we formed the MVP Track and Field Club about 20 years ago, we didn't have a world record holder in the 100 meters. We didn't have the number of Olympic medals that we have and World Championship medals we have now.
I have to give God thanks for giving me strength on a daily basis, because my scope of work is very wide.
Reverend Neil has served as a chaplain for the JCF since 2001. Last year, he was recognized for 30 years of committed service to the Seaview Baptist Church.
I worked for 19 years at BB Cook High School in Junction as a chaplain, school chaplain. I worked for 19 years as a station pastor for Junction Police Station. I worked for 19 years at Witton Sons Funeral Home, Junction St. Elizabeth. I worked as a marriage officer from 2007 to 2019, and Justice of the Peace for the parish of St. Elizabeth from 2007 until 2019. So it's an overwhelming moment for me, because what really happens is that the best time to give somebody something is when they're alive.
Warrant Officer Class 1, Lucal Antonio Miller.
001 Miller, 25 years of service to the Jamaica Defence Force.
It's really a sacrifice, and you have to be willing to serve to be able to do that. The pleasure is really to see what comes out at the end of the sacrifice. I am really proud of being a representative of Trelawney, honestly. The first one from Trelawney to be awarded this way, especially in my community.
The Honorable Dr. Horace Anthony Chan, Member of Parliament, for distinguished public service in the area of politics.
Greatest feeling comes from the work I've done for a lot of the young people out of both Hanover and Montego Bay. There are many of them today who are young graduate professionals, and I can understand the need to assist them, because many of them would not have gone the journey without the help. And I'm committed to that kind of activity because it has been a good journey for myself from the hills of Westmoreland.
The Honorable Lester Michael Henry, a Member of the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander and a Member of Parliament, for 40 years of distinguished public service, political representation, and public policy development.
What stands out for me are the realization of many things that people have achieved. For instance, it's a culmination in terms of sitting beside a descendant of Marcus Garvey. None but ourselves can free our minds. It's also the looking at and listening to Dean Fraser play what is the title of my book, Many Rivers to Cross.
Mr. Sean Paul Ryan Francis Sean Paul Henriquez, a contribution to the global popularity and promotion of reggae music.
I'm very humbled, I'm very honored. It's a real moment for me, you know. Never thought this would happen to me, but I appreciate it so much, and as I said, my love for Jamaica and the culture. I guess it's been honored now, but I would like to honor back Jamaica and salute everyone. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What color is the rainbow? Oh, check it next time it shows. It's the way we should be, together in harmony, rocking on the same boat, sailing up the same stream. Oh, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, all the Jaja children are go Harambe, Harambe. Hear what I say, Harambe, say Harambe. Hear what I say, Harambe.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
And that's all the time we have available on this station, but only for today. We return tomorrow with another informative magazine program. We hope you keep the link, whether by email, through our website, on all major social media platforms, our YouTube channel, or our mobile app. See, there's a plethora of ways to stay connected with us. We look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to another corporate events coverage, and this time around, BATV is on location at the Bank of Jamaica Auditorium, ready to bring you highlights from day one of the two-day conference dubbed A Call to Action, Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments. I'm Javon Keys, and I'll be your host. Stay with us.
The DBJ is really proud to be associated with this event, with a focus that we have on driving the economy by looking at the role that we all have to play in championing Jamaica through each of our line of businesses, each sector, and each person. It is indeed appropriate, I think, that the theme of this conference is a call to action. Each representative in this room was not invited by coincidence. It was by assessing the vision that as to where we are, where we need to be, and who are the instrumental players needed to help us in this journey. And so it makes sense that the DBJ and the Bank of Jamaica would collaborate in this area. The DBJ, as most of you probably know, is mandated to provide opportunities for all Jamaicans, regardless of their social status, to improve the quality of their lives through developmental financing. The Bank of Jamaica is responsible for creating and managing the monetary policy that affects every Jamaican and every financial institution in the country. Therefore, coming together to hold a conference on financial inclusion and digital payments, we see as a logical development of our relationship with the BOJ. But why is financial inclusion so important and digital payments that it merits a two-day conference? I believe it is important because when you look at the world's poor, including many Jamaicans, they live and work in what is known as the informal economy. Yet even though they have very little money, they still manage to save, borrow, and meet their day-to-day expenses. However, without access to the formal financial system that allows savings account, debit card, insurances, lines of credit, they rely instead on informal means of managing money. And these include, as we all know, family, friends, cash on hand, pawnbrokers, money lenders, or simply keeping it under the mattress. But, as we all know, these choices are almost always inefficient, risky, and expensive. And therefore, we encourage those who are regarded as the unbanked to become a part of the formal financial system, as it will provide benefits to the individual as well as on a national level. Simply put, we become part of something that is so much bigger. My presentation this morning focused on financial inclusion, which really, and in particular, how do we get that significant section of our economy that is unbanked into the formal financial system. A significant part of our economy, of the persons who contribute to our economy, are still in the informal sector. We need to get them into the formal sector so they can access the benefits that would come with being a part of the formal financial system. So our role really is to encourage them, to educate them, to show them the benefits that can be derived from being a part of the formal sector. And in so doing, utilize the payment mechanisms that is going to be discussed here today. For example, the whole matter of mobile payments, digital payments, and other benefits that they would derive from coming into the formal financial system.
We are convinced that through this conference we can begin to build awareness and continue the conversation about the issues and challenges that must be resolved as we strive to develop and provide payment products and services to satisfy the needs of the average Jamaican consumer. We also see the need for tailored financial literacy programs that are integral to Jamaica's transition to the status of a digital economy. Over the next 2 days, we will engage in vibrant discussions on how innovations in electronic retail payments can impact Jamaica's development and how regulation can foster innovation. We will take an in-depth look at the risks and opportunities associated with digital payments and, most importantly, discuss how public-private partnerships can create a sustainable ERPS ecosystem. We will hear from our authorized ERPS issuers their experience with electronic retail payments. We will also hear from a micro entrepreneur on how electronic payments can help to grow his business. It is anticipated that arising from these discussions, we will all have a renewed commitment to the development of the ecosystem to promote the use of digital products and to unlock the potential economic benefits associated with increased digitization of the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, I declare the conference open and with the wish that our deliberations will be fruitful. Thank you very much.
Driving financial inclusion through digital payments, that's what we're about today. The idea is to bring the regulators, the facilitators, along with some of the business partners into the discussion. And coming out of the dialogue today, hopefully we'll have a clear idea as to some of the challenges that are being faced by the various stakeholders. And we here at the Bank of Jamaica, we're about fashioning regulatory strategies to enable business, enable the growth and development of the financial sector. And we think that through engagement of our stakeholders, we will get certain insights which will assist us in discharging our responsibilities as a higher level of effectiveness. Well, the second day is going to be a little more of the same, but looking at perspectives of different stakeholder groups. Tomorrow what we want to do is pay a little bit more attention to some of the options, the opportunities that are available as we seek to unlock the growth potential in the sector. I think the major challenge that we face is designing products and services that satisfy the needs of the average consumer. And I think that has to be an area of focus for us. I'm not convinced that the taxi operator, for example, has the products and services that he needs to be more efficient and to reduce his cost. I'm not convinced. And I think that there are opportunities for us to, better serve the needs of consumers such as the taxi operator. And I'm hoping that coming out of the discussions over the next 2 days, that we'll be exploring those, issues.
And on that note, we go to a break. Stay with us. Much more after this.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now let's join our presenter on stage.
the strategy of mobile payments, we think is a win-win for financial inclusion. And let me explain a little bit this. If there is a country that goes directly to mobile payments without having gone through the previous stages of digital finance or buying through the internet, through the traditional landlines, through the internet providers in general, we see internationally that the improvements go 10 times faster. So digital payments, mobile payments have two interesting notions for consumers. One, that they provide payments in real time. Second, that are cheaper. What's there not to like, right? And what do we think is a win-win strategy for the different actors? First, for the unbanked, of course. If you do not have a banking account, and I've heard that roughly in Jamaica maybe it can be around 80% of the population, 70, 80%. But nevertheless, almost 100% have a mobile phone. So that brings opportunities, right? They will see that by starting paying over the phone, they are building a data, and they exist in the virtual economy of financial transactions. So they can be later provided with some insurance or offered some small credit line to buy electronically, and that's what happened precisely in China, where the e-commerce has brought all these payments. It's a win-win strategy for digital financial providers, and we saw that we are not talking about the traditional ones, the banks, but also new active players that now they can be interested, like fintech companies, startups, e-commerce, internet providers, to finance and to bank this new market share that represents almost 80% here. For the public sector, because they can use it also to different things. I mean, people can use it to pay taxes. The public sector can use it to provide benefits, welfare benefits through the digital accounts, and to other ends. So Bill Gates already said in 1995, we need banking, not banks. Interesting. That's what's happening now. Banking is not a monopoly of the banks. It's a much bigger concept now. So we've seen in the recent years that this has been very true, because we've seen the fintech activities, so the advancement of technology and the open platforms has made possible that new players come to offer financial services.
Banking is it's a concept that is changing. So banks are working from traditional banking to digital banks and other actors that are coming. Bill Gates said in 1995, we need banking, not banks, and this is becoming very true. I mean, we see a lot of financial disintermediation and fintechs, big techs, internet giants getting into the financial sector. That's from observance to what's going on in China, in India, and in other countries. This is a win-win strategy for consumers, for unbanked population, because they see that they can have access to more products. If start doing payments, then they can build transactional data, and this data is embedded into the system, and they can be sold other products. And this is a win-win strategy for the digital financial services providers, because they have access to population that has mobile phones, but they don't have a bank account. And finally, this is a win-win strategy for regulators, because they can use these systems also to provide welfare benefits, payments, payrolls, and they can be used to pay taxes, and so the traditional concept of banking is changing. And if the countries like Jamaica that didn't have a previous digital strategy that includes using landline services, it is well researched that the countries that go mobile first or mobile only, the improvements are 10 times faster, which is good news also. In terms of safety, it's very important to collaborate with the financial inclusion programs. They collaborate with financial literacy. they need to be aware of what are the different methods that they can use, and it's driven also by a good, like the Bank of Jamaica is doing and has in their agenda to promote financial literacy, to promote the use of these new ways to conduct business and through the mobile in a safe way for consumers, in the sense that they can avoid fraud, or they cannot be hacked, or they cannot be put at risk. So they need to know better how to do it. But having been said, these are very messaging apps, like WhatsApp is getting into payments. So what they are trying to do is to be very friendly used, and the consumer is at the center of the product. So you can use your app to pay, to buy cinema tickets, to use for taxes, to pay your taxes, to different things. So they are trying to do it so that it's very user-friendly.
We take our final break, but don't go anywhere. We have more highlights for you after this.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands! Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life runs art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Thanks for staying with us. Now for more highlights.
GKMPay really have quite a few functionalities, and I think one of the things I've learned this morning is the use of collaboration, because I can see how easily we can collaborate with SMEs and other persons here. So basically, our functionalities allow us to load remittances to phone, and we must say here that we're one of the only mobile payment solution that can do that. So for instance, you walk into our Western Union location, and you can load the cash that you would now take out of that location onto your phone, right? So the functionality, as you see, is there. We do telephone top-up, so you can top up your phone, whether it's Lime, Digicel, Flow. You can also pay your bills, because as I would have said earlier, we have a bill payment entity. So you can pay from any one of our existing biller listing. We have peer-to-peer transactions where you can send money to other persons. So I'm here today, I need to pay my helper, how do I pay her? I basically send her transfer. If you notice, we talked also about what is going to make the customer change. Our portal allows us to have rewards. So basically, if you sign on as a merchant, you can offer discounts. So why use GKMPay? You also have rewards. So if you look, you see a number 2 there. It means currently when you would open your phone and look at your phone, you basically have 2 coupons there from 2 merchants that you can now redeem. I think it's important that we talk about security, because it was also mentioned the issue of lack of trust. Why should I use my phone? Is it safe? In developing our product, that was something we had to take into consideration. So in terms of using it, you have a PIN. You have to use a PIN to get on. You have to use a PIN to complete your payment. When you go into our self-serve portal, which is again helping you to basically help yourself through this new journey that you're on in terms of becoming digital, there is a self-serve or customer portal that is self-serve. And of course, it's encrypted. If you leave your phone, it's locked, right? If you lose your phone, you do not lose your money. And I think that's also very important that we have to educate our consumers on. If you lose your phone, it's even safer than if you have lost your wallet or if you have lost your credit cards or your debit card. There's not this long process. You call the call center and you reactivate your phone. So the issue of security and development was integral in terms of the platform that we developed. So what were some of the challenges we were facing in terms of GK and Pay? And I heard it again from the previous presenter, the idea of educating our customers. There is still this lack of trust for the technology. You know, do I really trust that my money is going to be on my phone, that I'm going to be able to use it when and where I want to use it? What if I lose it? So how do we truly get our customers to embrace this new technology? We also have to educate them that it's safer, you know, to use the phone. I have in the audience, we invited the head of the Taxi Association here today, Alan Blair, right? And one of the things we've been saying is, as taxi men, collecting, how is it safe for you to be on the road all time of night with money on your body? So we're also promoting safety, but still we were having a challenge. So customers, merchants were really not accepting that this is a new norm. So we have launched GK and Pay. I want to go to KFC, but KFC is saying, what is GK and Pay? What's in it for me? And the customers are saying, I can't go anywhere and cash out, so why should I get GK and Pay? So again, it was interesting to see the two approaches in terms of top-down, bottom-up, and which do we think is best for Jamaica, because there's going to have to be, I believe, a regulatory push to get persons on board, right? So the issue of onboarding our merchants, our agents, our customers is truly a challenge. Which come first, the chicken or the egg? So what do we need? We definitely need education, public awareness, not only of our customers, but also our consumers. We really, again, I said, would like to thank the BOJ for this type of symposium, because we do think it's building awareness. However, we think it has to go much more than that. It has to reach to the public in terms of saying, I have confidence in this system. I'm validating this new payment system for Jamaica. It's how Jamaica is truly going to have a digital economy. So we truly need that endorsement from the Bank of Jamaica. We need integration with our payment system, with our banking system. So if you think about it, the taxi man, he collects his $100,000 for the night. What does he want to do? And we talk about financial inclusion. He wants to put that money in his bank account, right? So right now he would have to go and cash out. We're saying he should be able to go to FGB, NCB, and lodge his monies to his bank account. And we think this is another integral takeaway of a symposium like this. We really need our consumer to be able to be bankable. And if we talk about true financial empowerment, true financial inclusion, this is the way we're going to get it. One of the things, and I said review of the wallet size, one of the things we also say is, if we have our taxi man lodging these funds every day to his bank, he can get his GK and Pay statement. Why can't he use that statement to say, this is my source of income? You know, this is my true, legitimate source of income. Whether it is to get a small loan, whether it's to get a loan for his daughter to go to college, we don't know. But these type of forward thinking is really what we need when we start talking about digital payments.
Okay, Quisk is NCB's solution, NCB's mobile wallet offering. Essentially is a way that you can make a payment or receive payment without either plastic, and it's you use your phone number in order to you can use your phone number, go to the ABM and can do cash out from the ABM, or you can make a payment at a merchant. So if you were to go to a merchant and instead of swiping your card or insertion of your card, you enter your 10-digit phone number, then your 6-digit password, and then you can pay for your goods or services. So, and you can also do peer-to-peer transfers. So if we go to, let's say a group of us go to dinner and we go Dutch, we can just transfer all the funds to one person, and then that person can make the payment on the NCB terminal to pay for the dinner. We launched Quiz in 2016, and we've seen increased interest because of a number of changes we've made to the product, and we made it a little easier as well for customers. So we see where there's been significant increase, and we have a number of quick service restaurants. So we've increased the offering, we've built out the ecosystem, and we continue to build out this ecosystem. So customers are seeing increase in value in NCB Quisk. Just about every merchant who has NCB terminals, you would be able to access Quisk. So for the newer merchants, they're signed up automatically with Quisk. But for merchants who have been system for a long time, we continue to go through the process of adding Quisk to their terminals. So if there's any merchant that you'd like to use Quisk and you're not seeing where they have Quisk at this time, we can easily add them, because the same machine that any of our merchants have can process KeyCard, MasterCard, Visa card, can process multi-link debit card, process Amex, China Union Pay, Discover, JCB cards, and of course NCB Quisk. So the merchants don't require to have an additional terminal. So it's the same terminal that process all debit and credit card transactions that process Quisk right now.
The unbanked constitutes over 500,000 people, and we want to get them included. The government's policy of financial inclusion, and that's our aim. Our product is not as, invasive as when you go to try and open a bank account. We have the Bank of Jamaica guidelines for the card, which is not as stringent. It's once you collect remittance from abroad, it's the same process. So it's not very difficult, but the difficulty is going to be education. How do you convince people who are not used to a product and what they perceive as a bank product? How do they get access to it? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find ways to make it simple and fast. I think it's very timely, because without financial inclusion, the economy cannot grow. If you have half your population unbanked and doesn't have access to financial services, which means credit, just a regular bank account to do transactions, it's very, very difficult to maximize your potential. We went to a card product as opposed to the mobile wallet. Our products can also use mobile technology, but it's just an educational process, and that's long and hard to convince somebody to put your money on a device like a phone. It's not an easy thing to persuade people to do. They don't have any confidence in it. They have never seen it, and how do you convince them that it is safe and this is going to be a very convenient tool? But over time, I believe Jamaicans are very technology savvy and hungry, and we hope that over time we'll have that.
That brings us to the end of part one of our two-part coverage of the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments Conference. Until next time, I'm Javon Keys. Stay tuned to Business Access TV, serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to part 2 of BATV's coverage of the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments Conference happening right here at the Bank of Jamaica. I'm your host, Javon Keys, inviting you to stay tuned.
DBJ, in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank, has embarked on a program of financial inclusion, or assisting with the development of the and also assisting with the development of the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Now, an important part of the conference is to bring awareness to the availability of the relevant technologies that can assist in bringing efficiencies to businesses. So this conference is under the theme Electronic Retail Payments as well as Financial Inclusion, because we're seeking to bring micro and small businesses into the formal sector and for them to understand how they can utilize digital technology to improve their business operations. We think that the conference is timely because we're at a stage now in the market where there are 3 providers of call it non-traditional services, mobile money services, and one in the form of a prepaid MasterCard. Now, as it relates to mobile money, that particular service has been on the market for about 3 or 4 years, but the adoption of mobile money services has been below par. But mobile money has been used in other areas to move persons into the formal sector and to assist in reducing things like transaction costs for businesses. So we think it is timely now that our MSMEs seek to adopt this technology as they move towards improving business efficiency. As it relates to the presenters, we endeavor to bring presenters who are already in the space, persons who are aware of the technology, and persons who could contribute and help in convincing microfinance organizations as well as other stakeholders of the importance of moving Jamaica in this direction.
The idea behind this is really seeking how we can help to develop the ecosystem for digital payments to encourage more persons to actually use it as a means of engaging with regulated financial institutions or regulated payment system providers. The thinking behind it is that you have to understand the customer's perspective, remove the pain points, understand the provider's perspective, and facilitate the flow of business and funding. Because this financial inclusion project is part of a broader project to empower Jamaicans to actually engage in the global economy. First of all, I think we need to redefine ourselves. I think we limit ourselves unnecessarily. Jamaicans, and Jamaica is actually on the cusp of becoming first world. We're an upper middle income country. We have sacrificed greatly in terms of financial sector reform. So what you see in the ERPS guidelines, the Electronic Retail Payment Services guidelines, is the creation of the regulatory framework which speaks to consumer protection, speaks to agents, speaks to the nature of the product design, and we go through a rigorous assessment of the product, which means that when a consumer now uses an authorized ERPS product, they have confidence that Bank of Jamaica has looked at the issue, looked at fit and proper, looked at the agent network, and even looked at the mechanisms to protect the consumer. So, of course, data protection is critical, but what also needs to be remembered at each point is that this is a means of facilitating payments. So we have tiered levels because we understand that the transaction volume and the value of each transaction is important to the individual customer. So it's all being done from a customer perspective as well as ensuring you develop the ecosystem. We are about empowering Jamaicans and empowering our financial institutions and providers by bringing them together in a forum where we can speak about the areas that need to be improved upon and addressed. And the main takeaway for the Jamaicans would be that we can actually use digital payments to facilitate business and facilitate it easily with confidence, knowing the payment will go through, knowing that it will reach its intended recipient, and knowing that you have confidence at the end of the day, your wallet, your mobile wallet is in fact operating as it should to protect you.
I was presenting on public-private partnerships and how its impact can influence a successful ecosystem for electronic retail payments. The main takeaway points is that the private sector, in assisting the government to achieve national financial inclusion strategy, cannot do it on its own. There has to be a substantial investment by the government itself to advance financial inclusion. This conference is an offshoot of the government's plan, and in this plan it involves the commitment to public and private partnership, which is education of the public on the government's intention to support digital products for the underserved, and hence it's called financial inclusion. It's very timely. Digital evolution, it's becoming faster and faster, and the sooner Jamaicans are made aware of the opportunities, the sooner the investors, all stakeholders, and the consumers can participate. I personally would not like to see a foreign company come in and provide solutions to our own citizens, which we are capable of doing. So it is incumbent upon us to now start to roll out our strategies. There are 4 authorized issuers, and issuer is the company who will be providing the service. There is Alliance, GK, which does MPay, Quisk, NCB, and previously there was Connect. And these companies have made significant advancements and investments into the new ecosystem. And I personally believe that there's so much opportunity. Lasco Financial Services is preparing its application as well, because we see the opportunities in the market. But for the state, we believe it is necessary for them to assist us with the public education, because we have to convert. It's going to be a lot to convert new customers who are not fully aware of the opportunities and the entire security features of this digital payment. That us as issuers can't do on our own. So that was mainly the gist of my presentation, to make the state think differently about their role in financial inclusion, and also to make the investors think differently about their role. I find that most of the investors are so focused on the payment system, which is the technology, and not thinking about the ecosystem. Now, the ecosystem is necessary to drive success, which is all the merchants involved, all the agents that are involved, and other government stakeholders. So I hope today I was able to give them a different perspective. So far, there's not been any successful business proposition, neither for the customer nor the investors themselves. So I hope I was able to get them to think a little differently today.
It's time for a quick break, but stay with us. We have much more after this.
Doggin Global Introduction. Doggin Global is an integrated multidisciplinary professional service firm. We are integrated as one firm and provide several professional services, including audit, accounting, tax, IT, risk, HR, performance, M&A, corporate recovery, and other advisory services. The firm is organized in several professional service units, which includes Doggin Auditors, Doggin Advisors, Doggin Legal, Doggin Finance, Doggin HR Solutions, Doggin Tech Solutions, Doggin Media, Doggin Corporate Secretarial. If you are interested in any of our services, please contact us for a free quote. Email info@doggin.global. Website doggin.global.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us.
So people earn more as technology get adopted. So that's on the macro side, but then there are overwhelming distributional effect of technology. The high school droppers, their real wage hasn't moved from 1963, from the 60s. So what happened with technology adoption is that those who are able to use those technologies are the one who benefit, because the technology is complementary to high skill. Think about powerful computers. You can do programming. Obviously, you program faster. You can run your code faster. But if you have robots are substitute to who? Robots are substitute to low-skilled workers. You still need high-skilled people to program those robots. So in equilibrium, you would have more higher real wage, higher productivity for high-skilled workers, and lower real wage for low-skilled workers. Because the demand for those low-skilled is lower because they get substituted with robots, but the demand for high-skill is higher because you need more high-skill to program and to actually operate those robots. Now, that's the general perspective on technology, but you may wonder, is this time different? Is the digital revolution different from the previous technological change that occurred? In some respect, yes, but not totally. Yes, because this chart shows you the lag in the adoption of technologies. So if you look at earlier technologies in terms of motor engines, they were slow. The adoption of those technologies was slower. So the digital is faster to adopt, maybe because of the nature of the technology itself. But the reality is that the changes that we've seen over the past 50 years, you may have to double that. You'll be thinking about it 50 years ahead because technology diffusion is faster. Now, I do believe that people learn fast. I mean, we saw yesterday in the keynote there was a top-down approach to financial inclusion, which in the case of Jamaica could mean the path benefits are channeled through funds. And as you do that, that alone, if people are already aware that my path benefit will be coming on my phone, it unlocks that possibility to use funds as device to mobile service and all. So I think there is some scope for top-down in terms of what the policy can do to incentivize those behaviors. In some other countries where the private sector is very large and have a lot of access to credit, they could also engineer, they could facilitate that process. But I think in developing countries there is a scope for maybe for government to kind of fuel the process.
I was essentially looking back and to see how technology, what has been the impact on technology, on work, technology on distribution. And the key message there is that technological advancement have generally been associated with higher growth, higher productivity, and higher real wages on aggregate. But they also come with some challenges because when there are new technology, some people get displaced because some new jobs get created as a substitution to some of the old jobs. So usually technology are more skill biased. So those people who have skills are complementary to technology. Like if you need robots, you're essentially substituting low-skill jobs. But those people who can operate the robots and program the robots, those are the people who, in the first instance, benefit the most. Now, that could lead to polarization of income. So you may have more inequality because the more skill get more and the low skill get less because they get substituted by the machines, right? So the question there is what can policy do? And this is one of the questions that I was trying to provide an answer to, drawing on some work that has been done at the IMF on technology and the future of work. And essentially, there is a taxation and spending policies that could be adopted. First, to make sure that the unskilled can keep up with technology in terms of upgrading their skills. And number two, how to finance that. Because if the government wants to spend more in those areas, there is scope to raise taxes. And when you think about tax, you don't want to tax the income of the person earning more because he may work less. So you don't want distortionary taxes. You want consumption type tax. So in that model, they try to see if taxing consumption to finance more education spending and providing some transfers, how can you redistribute the gain of technological change? So you keep the growth, so you keep the fact, you don't prevent technology from occurring because one of the nature of the growth and development is that new sectors comes up, some jobs get destroyed, and as long as there is no distortion in the process. You shouldn't prevent the process. And that's what policy can do, you know, in terms of using taxation and spending to make sure that although the aggregate gains of technology are protected, you also take care of the non-so skilled in terms of upgrading them.
We take our final break, but don't go anywhere. We have more highlights for you after this.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Thanks for staying with us, and if you're just tuning in, we're here at the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments Conference. Now for more highlights.
Security incidents have been increasing in sophistication, frequency, and the magnitude of impact. So no longer you have a one-way hack. So we hack an organization somewhere and it's isolated. No more we have that. We go in big. Hackers are organized. You have hacker teams, and I really want to scare you really bad, but we have them locally too. And on these teams, you have the person who is in charge of personal data. You are the technical person. You do the social engineering. Different persons have their different roles. So they're dedicated to what they do. This is their job. Figure out how to get into a certain amount of accounts and take out the money. These incidents, as I may have alluded to before, affect the reputation of the company, their finances, and even their physical assets, because they can take down your networks. This undermines your competitiveness and your ability to innovate and position yourself in the marketplace. You can suffer tangible, physical, or economic harms. Security incidents can impose significant costs on an economy as a whole, eroding trust and spreads across sectors. The attacks themselves may be intentional. So they may sit and plan for a year that look will come in for Bank of Jamaica. However, it may also be unintentional. You may just have that one user that's clicked on the wrong thing. A lot of times, that happens. What are some of the ways in which this can happen? Now, research has shown that the biggest security issue in any organization is the human factor. So you spend all this money and you buy the latest firewalls and you have all the policies in place. But if your users are not aware, if they don't know that Mr. Morrison's name does not have an S, it can cause a problem. So you have to be aware, you have to be really conscious of these things. Think about it. You must have policies and procedures in place. As the leaders, as the managers of the organizations, you have to ensure that they have the end user policies, your social media policies. I know these are things we generally don't think about because they're not traditional, but it's the age in which we're living again. You must look at things such as passwords. You have to ensure that their users know that their name is not a good password. They also need to be aware of the fact that when you give them a set of credentials, it's theirs. And anything happens under those credentials, they are responsible. And always be careful of opening and following links in unsolicited mail. If you don't know the person, like me and the cyber jutsu person, don't be clicking at it. As much as it make you feel good, the feel good factor is what they used to get. And what we say, always be cyber safe, protect yourself online, and think before you click. And I've even gone further now to say think before you post, because some of the things that you're posting, they're even more dangerous than somebody stealing your phone. I spoke about the need for persons to be aware of the issues that can arise with using online platforms as well as using electronic devices. So we want people to know that while there are good uses, and I did speak to some of the uses of social media in marketing and in promoting a business, there are some risks that exist, and I gave some examples as to how to manage those risks. Companies need to do all that is necessary to protect consumers' data. Why I don't think sometimes they realize that this data that they hold is valuable to other organizations, some not necessarily legal organizations as well, for all sorts of use. And that is what we're trying to get across, that companies need to realize that you're holding personal data and other persons are interested in this data, so it is your responsibility to protect it. When you're using online platforms, when you're using electronic devices, think before you click, think before you post with social media. You need to consider the impact that whatever you post may have not only on you but on others. Thinking before you click can save yourself and your organization a lot of trouble.
As it relates to a digital world, and as users and consumers increase their usage, and the intention is that as technology improves and increase, then more and more persons should take up the use, especially to do businesses and services. But the direction that we're heading is good, but we also have to think about the negative side of things, in the sense that there are challenges with respect to security aspect of what we do. We do a lot of business online. We do a lot of transaction, point of sale services. All of these things, pose risk and threat for the consumers. Criminals are out there. They're understudying and looking at how things move on and progress with respect to businesses, whether it's online businesses and things like that. They can get involved in studying your patterns of usage online. Say, for example, if you pay bills online, if you shop online, normally you'll put your information about your card online, your PIN number online. Criminals can now send, malicious software to your smart devices. Once it gets on your devices, these criminals now have access to your information. It dumps things like keyloggers, so when you're ready to put your card number in, they capture that number. It goes as far as turning on your camera system and turns on your audio system. Sounds very scary, but indeed it is so. I'm not here to let persons become paranoid, but becomes aware of the possibilities that are out there. Sometimes you go to point of sale to do your transactions. We have to be careful of the persons that are accepting your debit and credit card, because sometimes they work with the criminal underworld. They get things like skimmers, a similar thing to your swipe when you take it to the supermarket or gas station. Swipes. Criminals are now bringing into the country the fake ones, so that cashiers and persons who are accepting these cards, they will have the fake, what we call a skimmer. Once you make your payment and you're not paying attention, these persons can swipe these cards, capture the information about your card, recreate your card, or get into your account. So I'd advise shoppers, when you go to the gas station, don't just give your card and turn your back or let the attendant go away with your card. If they're not doing these transactions in your presence, then you should not do business with that kind of business place. So these are some of the things, we just want you to be aware that these are the possibilities, and you have to be vigilant as a user and as a consumer, because the more and more we move into a cashless society, it becomes more challenging for law enforcement to investigate these cases. as I said before, the internet has no borders, and all of these things are connected on a global scale to different servers providing different services. And sometimes you have persons out there that can hide their criminal activity. Say, for example, an IP address. Criminals can now hide their IP address, make it appear that it's coming from a specific server, a proxy server, makes it more difficult for law enforcement to track these criminals. But I want to reassure the Jamaican public that law enforcement and government is doing the best they can at this point, seeing that digitization and technology drives the economy. We'll have to prepare ourselves to serve and protect consumers as they use technology more. Laws are in place to deal with criminals and to deter their activity. We have the Cybercrime Act of 2015, which is now up for revision. The penalties are stiff. If it's in the lower court, it can be between 3 to 5 years or $3 to $5 million. If it's in the upper court, you can get a maximum of 20 years or $20 million. And these are some of the things we are putting in place to deter criminal activity. Of course, the police department do have a specific unit that deals with the investigation of these types of crimes. Personnel have been trained and have the necessary skill set that can investigate these matters. Another thing is that Jamaica is a part of a global network of investigators and skilled person who can investigate these cases. So because the internet has no borders, it means that a perpetrator can, have access to your information from outside of Jamaica, which means that you need the support of other countries. Jamaica is a part of a 24/7 network, which comprises of about 80 different countries. So if a perpetrator appears to be coming from country X, once that country is a part of the network, then they will collaborate and support the investigation with the local police department. And that is something that, we want consumers to be reassured that indeed we are trying to keep up with the game as criminals get more sophisticated.
And that brings us to the end of part 2 of our 2-part coverage of the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments conference. Until next time, I'm Javon Keys, inviting you to stay tuned to Business Access TV, serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Being on Business Access TV has promoted my business in that it has exposed me. I'm selling to Sanders now. I've been even to Brussels. I've get commission to build the ACP logo. And I'm back here now, I'm doing different items, like it's creating more souvenir, different style of souvenir. Anyone that is considering to do business with Business Access TV should go right ahead because it motivates and propels the work forward.
Creating change, building a future, caring hands, giving back, touching hearts, and shaping lives. Impacting our world for the better.
everyone, and welcome to Chill Spot. On this episode, we'll be talking to Kamal Banki, a man who wears many hats. He'll be talking to us about his life as a DJ, a promoter, and a PR consultant as we hang out right here at the beautiful Sandals Ochi Beach Resort. So don't go anywhere. Chill Spot begins right now. Hi, Kamal. How are you?
Hi, Candy. I'm great.
So you've taken us here to Sandals Grand Ocho Rios, which I'm very excited about, but tell us why this is your chill spot.
Well, so I live in Kingston, which is, in my opinion, the cultural mecca of Jamaica.
Right, absolutely.
But sometimes you want to escape a little bit and come and chill somewhere outside of town. 45 minutes with the new highway. Yes. Ocho Rios is the perfect spot to chill, and this is the #1 spot to chill in Ocho Rios.
Well, I haven't seen very much of it, but from what I have seen and experienced just in the first 5 minutes, I'm very excited about that.
Well, take it from me. I'm here all the time, and believe me, there's the world to do here. Great food, activities, lots of fun.
So that being said, what exactly are we going to be doing today?
Well, a little of this, a little of that. I mean, we're going to have some lunch, of course. We're going to taste some cocktails at the bar. We're going to do some sports. I'm a big sports fan.
I would imagine that Sandals has a lot of food options and places for us to eat. Where exactly are we going to be eating here? Which is your spot?
In true Jamaican style. And this is actually the best kept secret of Sandals. Oh, they brought a drink for you.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Oh, delicious. Like I said, all in the first 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
All in the first 5 minutes.
The best kept secrets of Sandals. They have some of the most delicious jerk in the entire country.
Are you sure?
I will tell you this. The people that know me best know that I'm a real foodie. I cook, I own a restaurant, I eat like copious amounts of food. I know food. And I can tell you, the jerk out here, it's giving Scotches a run for its money. I'm gonna let you decide.
You're making me salivate, okay? So.
It's probably better.
All right, so what are we gonna be doing first?
So the first thing is that I'm gonna show you the property. This property is actually really cool. It has two sides. So you have the beach side and the manor side, and you have excellent food and drink options on both sides. But we're gonna check the bar up here. It's lovely.
Perfect. I'm ready to get started. Let's go.
Let's go.
I thought you meant the first move for all of them.
Coming up.
From what we've done, conservative estimates are somewhere about $1.5 billion Jamaican pumped into the economy because of the Dream Weekend effect.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
So, a man who wears many hats. You are a DJ, you are a promoter, and you are part owner of a restaurant, Ribby's. Let's start with the promoter side and the business of entertainment. How did you get involved with Dream Entertainment?
So, Dream Entertainment is, in my opinion, one of the most dynamic and, leading entertainment companies actually in Jamaica. Dream Entertainment started from the Dream Team, which is a group of promoters who basically do a lot of the signature events across Jamaica, and we decided that we're going to unite and join forces to bring some of the events that we all were doing in the grill under one banner. So I was doing an event called Wet and Wild with my partners down there on ATI. Some other people were doing some of the ATI parties, some people were doing RTI parties, and we joined forces along with the Smirnoff exclusive team and brought you the best events on one armband. So that's how Dream Weekend was born. Dream Weekend has had a significant impact not only on the entertainment industry, but generally on the Negril resort town. Obviously, the concept of what Dream is was started by ATI. So they were the originators of that whole party weekend concept.
That whole idea, yes.
In Negril. And if there was no ATI, there would be no Dream Weekend. But we think that we've refined it and made it a bit more workable and marketable internationally. So right now we get about 20,000 people to Negril for that weekend.
Wow, 20,000?
Yeah, about 20,000. Wow. And based on the latest surveys that the JTB has done, about 51–52% of those are actually tourists.
International, right?
Yeah, not Jamaicans who come home for summer. People who live and work abroad. Mainly from the eastern seaboard of the United States, including Toronto, the United Kingdom, and basically we have representation from all continents. From what we've done, conservative estimates are somewhere about $1.5 billion Jamaican pumped into the economy because of the Dream Weekend effect.
Would you say having that significant impact on the economy is your greatest accomplishment where Dream is concerned?
Impact on the economy in terms of direct spend is, I think, number one. And a close second is direct employment between, you know, security, bartenders,
Absolutely.
lifeguards, safety people.
You guys have a lot of employees for that weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we bring down in excess of 300 people to the town. That's our staff for the weekend. And then you have contracted employees and, you know, people that are coming in like DJs and stuff like that.
What would you say is unique about the Dream experience?
If you understand how Negril is laid out geographically, it's a 7-mile strip on the beach with hotels, party venues, restaurants, bars, all the way up. Now, there's nowhere else in Jamaica that you have that. Very few places in the world actually have that logistic, you know, benefit, and you're able to keep events there. So while there are actually bigger venues in Jamaica, single event venues, the whole logistics of people staying where they're partying on one strip, and then we're actually able to use shuttle buses up and down the strip so people don't have to drive anywhere. That's unique, you know, and they can hop from restaurant to bar to party to their hotel to somebody else's hotel, you know, basically for 6 days. That is, in my opinion, one of the greatest experiences ever.
Very convenient, I should say. And what can patrons expect from this year's staging?
Well, so we have, in my opinion, the most high energy event anywhere in the world, which is Extreme Wet and Wild. The energy that you get at Extreme Wet and Wild is unparalleled. There's nowhere else that's doing something like that. We have a concert. We have great artists, great DJs playing on every event. Our sponsors for this year, Appleton Special, they're back on board. They're actually owning some of the events. So you're gonna see, you know, a different presentation of the look and feel of some of these events, the bars, you know, what we serve there. It's a higher level.
What would you say is one of the biggest misconceptions about being a party promoter or being in this industry?
That it's fun. Yeah.
So it's not?
It's a lot of hard work. I work so that you have fun.
Right.
So basically, you know, when people are enjoying themselves and whatever, I'm kind of a lot of the times in the background, you know, making sure everything is
right. But it really does seem so glamorous from the outside. I really imagine that as a party promoter, you guys would have a lot of fun doing it.
I feed off the energy, you know, so I enjoy seeing people have fun. I myself am worrying about 10 million things while it's happening.
Right.
So I don't necessarily get to enjoy it, but
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, seeing people enjoy themselves is one of the reasons why I do this.
All right, so let's take off the Dream hat now.
Okay.
All right, and let's put on the Ribbies hat.
Cool.
Okay, and tell us how that started.
So, a young man named Garth Walker, who is a good friend of mine and also part of the Dream team, decided to have this Wealth Grillers team entered in the Jamaican All-Island Grill-Off. Being a foodie myself, you know, I was always, you know, passionate about food and cooking and grilling and whatever. Ribby Chung, who is the person who started Asylum and Cactus and Quad and those places, he was known at times to go behind the grill and, you know, grill up some stuff himself. And of course, Don Creary, who is a self-proclaimed master chef, right? We were invited by Garth, who cannot cook, to be the actual chefs on the team while Garth served the food. So we went and we entered this All-Island Grill-Off and we started cooking together. The first year we entered, we actually came second overall, but won in a few categories. And then the second year we won overall. And yeah, thank you. And then the whole process of bonding and coming together, we had this rapport and whatever in terms of, you know, partnership. Garth being not at all skillful in the kitchen or food and beverage, he is a media man, he's an events man. But the rest of us who are loosely involved in entertainment and promotions and, you know, being a promoter myself, food and beverage, intrinsically, we said, hey, you know, let's have a little bar, let's do a little bar. And the opportunity came our way to take over the Acropolis Arena. And, you know, we kind of said to ourselves, well, you know, it's a nice little chill spot. You know, we can have, you know, a few drinks after work, invite some of our friends over. And, you know, we started July 1st, 2013. And basically, it's blossomed into one of the most amazing entertainment night spots in Jamaica.
And do you have any other professional pursuits right now?
Yes, I'm a PR consultant. I do corporate PR consultancy and strategy. I've been doing that for maybe about 10 plus years with some big corporate clients.
Right. And I think I was told that you're also a DJ.
It's always been a serious hobby of mine. I was DJing on and off from high school. You know, every high school kid wants to get involved, have a little sound, whatever. And then when I went off to college in America, we kind of disbanded. And then I turned, you know, a promoter. And then now, you know, back in the saddle in entertainment, I was like, yo, let me try and do this again, because I really like it. And then I kind of took it a little bit more serious. And yeah, I'm a professional DJ now. I play all over the world. And,
oh, wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And as it relates to those fields, what have your accomplishments been so far? I know you said you DJ all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, what has been really, really a great honor was, you know, I've been named a couple of times over the years to entertainment advisory boards for the government.
Okay.
So.
And you currently do that?
Well, I'd start back in 2008. I was named as director of the Jamaica Information Service of the advisory board. And I was deputy chairman of the Agricultural Investment Corporation, AIC, through the Ministry of Agriculture. Then I was named to the Entertainment Advisory Board in, I believe, 2012, and named chairman of the Jamrock Summer Working Group, which is an entertainment tourism project.
Well, you know you're doing something right, eh?
No, back on the Entertainment Advisory Board. I'm the entertainment person on the Tourism Linkages Council, chairman of the Entertainment Network in the Ministry of Tourism.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I was getting confused just listening to the list.
As I say,
exciting,
it's
though.
an honor.
Absolutely.
To be, I mean, you know, you dedicate your life to an industry, and I guess that's the best way that people can say, okay, yeah, you're actually, you know, one of the leaders in the industry, so I'm honored.
How would you want to be remembered in this industry?
Every single thing that I try and put my mind to, everything that I'm involved in, I want to change it slightly, put my spin on it, and be innovative, and I guess be remembered for being an innovative person and somebody that changed the industry.
All right, Mr. Banky, well, what's next on our agenda for today?
So our tour continues, Candy. After having a refreshing drink, we're actually going to go now and play some sports.
Oh, God.
We'll see how fit and ready you are for summer.
Definitely gonna embarrass me, but let's go.
Coming up.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art, I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
off the mark. Are you warm now?
I'm ready. Let's go right now.
All right. Oh! Finally. But so far so good with this resort. I'm very excited though about this food that's about to come.
Listen.
Very excited.
All right, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. You know, I said earlier, it's giving Scotches a run for its money. Arguably better.
What?
Yeah. It's not Portland authentic jerk,
Right.
but it's the closest thing. I mean, it's really
Well, I'm
good.
very excited to experience it.
And I mean, at a resort, at a hotel,
Yeah. Unheard of.
hats off to Sandals.
All right, Kamal, so I want to get into your childhood.
My childhood.
Yes. So let's talk about how you were raised, where you were raised, where you grew up. Do you have any siblings?
Before I was 10, I lived in Cayman Islands, Bahamas, United States, and Jamaica. Came to Jamaica when I was 6. And first school I went to, actually, most people don't know this, was Monique All Age in St. Anne. That was the first school I went to. Then I moved to Peter and Paul, undoubtedly the best prep school in the universe.
After Mono. Okay, sure.
We're not going to argue on camera, but we know the truth.
I think you know the
Fair
truth in your heart, so let's proceed.
Fair enough. And then I went to Campion for high school. That was my early...
Sorry to cut you, but the best school in Jamaica is a girls' school, so I don't expect you to have attended that one. But again, you may continue.
You mean Andrews?
Yes.
I was head boy of Andrews. I was a head boy
That's a
of
good way to
St.
put it.
Andrew High. I mean, I went to Campion, but I was the honorary head boy of St. Andrew High for girls. Spent some time there. And of course, you know, being myself, very interested in integration.
Right.
Yeah, secondary school integration. I was championing the movement for integration of all schools.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have one brother and one sister.
They're older or younger?
Both older.
Okay. So other than coming to Sandals to relax and take a vacation, what else do you like to do for fun?
So it's difficult for me to have fun a lot of the times when I'm, you know, hanging out in Jamaica because my business, my work is entertainment. I'm here, I'm always on. You know, I'm at Ribby's most nights, and that's work. So it's only when I actually get to like travel that I actually have fun.
Rest,
yes. Yeah, so I rest, I chill, whatever. So for me, travel is it. I'll pop up in a new country, you know, and I explore it, rent a car, drive all around, you know, and really try to see everything that a country has to offer. Go to good restaurants, bars, night spots. That's what I like to do.
Okay, and what would you say is next for Kamal Banki?
I'm gonna be a lawyer. Just kidding.
I'm like, curveball.
No, I'm going to continue in entertainment, just trying to do bigger and better stuff, working on different aspects of entertainment. You know, along with my partners at Dream, we actually have some really cool stuff that we're working on right now. Hopefully we can announce it very soon.
Okay, great.
Look forward to bringing the best of entertainment to the world, and hopefully the world loves it.
Well, Kamal, thank you so much for taking us here to Sandals Grand Ocho Rios. I had a fabulous day learning to play chess, playing tennis, basketball. Oh! Yes! Woo! Woo! Everything was just perfect, so thank you so much for sharing your chess.
Thanks so much for coming, and we're happy to have you.
Well, I'm looking forward to relaxing for the rest of this day, so...
All good.
And that's it for this episode of Chill Spot, where we hung out with entertainment entrepreneur and so much more, Kamal Banki, right here at Sandals Ochi Beach Resort. Until next time, I'm Candy for Chill Spot. Bye. Is that a lizard on the course? If there's a lizard there, we are... No, it's a leaf. I was supposed to say, we're not going over there if there's a lizard. We are not going over there.
Hey everybody, my name is Kamal Banki, and I am an
The whole purpose of putting him here was to kill you. Yeah, but I didn't know he could only move in an L. I thought you were just saying like one of the main features of him is he can move in an L. This is stupid. I quit. What was that? They want to know advice on being a great host. And that's really easy. Like, be named Candy King. Hair flip.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome to The Good Life. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb. Last week, we brought you part 1 of our episode on nutrition therapy. Therapist Stacey Aiken had invited us to a woman's retreat to share an evening of health coaching and an easy, nutritious cooking ideas. Join us again as we continue with part 2 of our discussion.
I know a lot of us have issues with our sugar intake. What is the recommended, amount of sugar that we should be having on a daily basis? And what are some big no-nos when it comes on to things that we just shouldn't even think about eating?
Sugar is a major concern. There's even studies that show that sugar has actually a toxic effect on the body. There's studies that show that sugar is highly addictive as well. Generally over the world, especially in the Western world, and we eat very much like an American diet in Jamaica. The recommended amount is about, for females, it's about 60 spoons of added sugar per day. For men, it's about 90 spoons of added sugar a day. So what is added sugar? When I say added sugar, I'm not talking about sugar that's naturally occurring in vegetables and fruits and natural foods. I'm talking about things that whether you at home or whether manufacturers add to food. So for instance, things that sugar is hiding everywhere. Our shelves, our supermarket shelves are inundated with high sugar, high fructose corn syrup. They're hiding in pasta sauces. Sugar is hiding on cereal.
In rice and peas.
Well, it's rice and peas if you're actually adding the brown sugar to the rice and peas, okay? So yeah, sugar is a major concern, and most of it, we just drink it. Because a lot of us, we're thirsty, but we go for our sodas, we go for our juice. In the morning, we pour our orange juice, and we pour a nice 8-ounce glass of orange juice, and that's very concentrated sugars. And so really what we're doing is actually, if you were to actually, well, let me ask you, how much oranges do you think it would take to make a 6-ounce glass of orange juice?
How many oranges? And it's a juicy orange?
Yes.
3.
Okay, now would you actually sit down at one setting and eat 3 oranges?
No.
Most people won't. So if you think about it that way, you're actually taking away the pulp, you're taking away all the fiber, and what you're getting is just pure juice, and that can go through your body very quickly. Your body absorbs the sugars in the juice very, very quickly, and it shoots up your blood sugar. So can you imagine every time you're thirsty, you're giving yourself a shot of sugar constantly throughout the day, your blood sugar is going to continually go up, and it will. So what has happened, especially in Jamaica, is that you find a lot of people, as I mentioned before, women with diabetes, their insulin response becomes insensitive. Their pancreas wears out because the response to sugar intake is for the pancreas to release insulin to allow the body to absorb the sugar. And what happens is that response wears out over time. So you may find that you have high blood sugar because the body is worn out, right? The organ is worn out. And so it's so easy for us to consume all these sugars without even knowing it. Even some things that we think are healthy, like the cereal bars, the granola bars and things, they're really high in sugar. Yogurts, if you look at the labels, you'll see a lot of them have 15 grams of sugar and sometimes more. So you have to be very careful with your sugar intake. We eat in generally way too much sugar, and especially for our population, we are at high risk of concerns such as diabetes. That can lead to other chronic illnesses such as heart disease and obesity and so forth. So that is definitely something that we have to be aware of, our sugar intake.
I know you had mentioned during your presentation that as Jamaicans we eat a lot of salt. How much salt is too much salt, and what should we look out for when preparing meals for people with hypertension?
Okay, so yes, in general, we tend to love salty foods. As Jamaicans, we love our corn pork and our little pig's tail in our rice and peas and so forth. So yes, especially if you're hypertensive, you really should watch out for your salt intake. The recommended amount of salt, especially if you're somebody who has a potential of hypertension or who is hypertensive, is about 1,500 milligrams. There's some recommendations that's like 2,300 milligrams, but that really works out to about less than 2 teaspoons of added salt, right? And as with sugar, salt is also hiding in a lot of these processed foods. You think of the packaged soups or the packaged seasonings. A lot of those tend to be very, very salty. If you're having a commercial packaged soup cup, the ones that you just add water to, in just 1 cup or in 1 package, you can have over your daily requirement of salt very easily. So yes, in our society, we tend to have a taste for salt, and we also tend to have a craving for salt. Things are never, salty enough. So we end up adding salt or adding salty things to our diet quite a bit. So there are ways that we can cook for hypertensives, of course. There are other things that can help to enhance food's flavor without adding salt. Things like vinegars you can add, things like lemon or lime. So it gives that tangy flavor, is a real flavor enhancer. I think it touches on the similar taste buds that salt would touch on. So you can use lemon rind as well. And you know what? As a matter of fact, our palates are trained. And you can untrain your palate as well. So in about a week, if you're to reduce your intake of salt or sugar, in about a week your palate would adjust to the newness of it all, right? Another place that salt is hiding, tends to be hiding, is our tin foods. So what I will tell my clients is, if you're going to have things like tin beans or canned anything, because they're stored in brine, rinse it. So there are different ways that you can overcome some of the infiltration of salt within the packaged food sector.
A lot of people would complain and say, you know what, it's expensive to buy all these vegetables and fruits and to maintain a healthy lifestyle. What are your views on that?
That's a tricky one, because it depends on what you choose to eat. So if you go into a typical health food store, you know, what you find is a lot of products that are maybe imported. So yes, you know, those health foods may have a higher price. However, I can tell you that, you know, I go to Coronation Market, and there are other local markets, and there are a lot of healthy or health-giving foods, very nutritious foods, the fruits and the vegetables, and the things that are in season. I mean, just the other day, I got tomatoes for $30 a pound. I came up with a bag of tomatoes for $45. All of my grocery for this weekend retreat that we're on now was less than $2,100. And I have produce left over. You have to look at things in a larger perspective. There's also the benefit that these foods have, and it's also, well, if you decide that you're not going to, maybe in some cases, spend a little bit more to go to the market, also in transportation costs, or to spend a little bit more on some of those key items that are at the market, you may be finding yourself at the doctor more often and spending the money there instead. So it's a tricky one. It can be very expensive. However, it depends on what you choose. You know, you can choose things that are in season, you can choose local foods. You don't have to choose necessarily things like kale. Callaloo, which is local, it's $40 a bungle, right? It has very, very similar, and in some cases more nutritious values of certain minerals and vitamins than things like kale, which is touted as a health food. So I think, you know, we have to look around us. Because sometimes we think we don't have access to food, but sometimes they're growing right in our backyards. I can mention things like purslane, or as some country people call parsley. It's a weed that I've grown to love. I found it in my yard. My gardener was weeding it out as an annoying weed. But come to find out that this thing that we're weeding out has the highest source of omega-3 fatty acid in any green plant. And this thing is just growing wild. So, you know, when you look at health food, you have to really ask yourself, what are you putting in that category? Because sometimes we confine that category into things that are bought in only certain locations. And we have to really look locally. You know, I just did demonstrations with using cassava flour, using breadfruit flour. There's a breadfruit tree growing right there. This is things that we can pick. Akis are nutritious. A lot of these things we have in our communities, we have it in our yards, our friends have it. So we don't necessarily sometimes have to go out and buy these things. If we look around us, we can also find it.
Don't go anywhere. Our Need to Know feature is up next. Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV. Welcome back to The Good Life. We have a cooking demonstration for you this week, but look out for those need-to-know tips.
Okay, ladies, guys, thanks for joining me once again. And right now we're going to be utilizing cassava flour, right? And we're going to be doing some tortillas or some flatbreads. Could be called crepes. There are many names for it, pancakes. But what's versatile about it is that we can utilize it as a wrap alternative. So for people who are gluten sensitive, right? This is something you could do. You could also use breadfruit flour as well. All right, but right now I'm doing cassava flour. I find the breadfruit flour a little bit mealy, but you can find a nice fine one and that should be fine. All right, so first I'm going to be utilizing a non-egg recipe. The recipe normally calls for egg, but I'm going to just experiment to see, because I have some vegan friends in the audience. So I'm going to see if I remove the egg, if it will still work. So let's just try this out. All right, so I'm just gonna add a pinch of salt. This is very basic. So all I'm doing right now is just slowly whisking, and I have this could be nut milk, it could be regular milk, it could be soy milk, coconut milk too. The recipe calls for almond milk. I think I'm using a bit of soy in this one. So what I'm doing is just whisking the liquid slowly into the flour, and what I want is a very smooth consistency. All right, so we're just going to smooth it out, so we don't want to have any lumps in here at all. It's nice and smooth, I think. The lumps are gone. So I'm just going to use a ladle. I'm not going to fill it up too much because I don't want a huge crepe. So this is almost like doing a pancake. I want it nice and thin, right? So I'm just going to pour it in the pan. I use the back of my ladle just to thin it out a little bit. So I'm trying this one, and we can actually compare it with the one with the egg to see if the texture is any different. Okay, so if you notice, I'm just going to use a nice spatula, and let's see if I can flip it. So the color is kind of golden, all right? It is easy. That's because it is easy. I don't have any fancy handwork. Okay. All right, so cassava. Cassava has many benefits other than it being gluten-free. It has a high value of carbohydrate. It's high in fiber, right? Some people tend to avoid it if they're on a diet, but really and truly, 100 grams gives you about 300 and something calories, but 100 grams is like 3.5 ounces. I don't even think there was, in one pancake, I don't even think there was 1 ounce in here. All right, so so because it's a very thin batter, so you could have maybe two really thin pancakes and still be filled without it being a very high caloric. And remember, because the fiber is in there as well, right? The fiber helps to slowly release the carbohydrates. So for people with diabetes or other concerns, the slow release of the sugars in any whole food with a lot of fiber is important to control the blood sugar levels. So we're just going to reserve it here. And let's just finish the batter. Let's just do another one just to see how they cook up. And I'm just going to finish this and then move on to the one with the egg batter. I'm going to be utilizing eggs for this one. So I always break my eggs first in a container because I've had a situation where I'm doing a large batch of something and I'm breaking the eggs together, and one spoiled egg spoils the entire batch. So I'm going to add my, let me use my half cup measure first. And I'm going to add my cassava flour slowly. And you know why I'm adding slowly? Because I want to reduce the amount of lumps in my mixture. because if I was to dump everything, it might just, get clumped together and give me more work in the end. So I'll just whip. So you add it slowly so that you can control the consistency, the smoothness of it. So this one actually has coconut milk. The first one I did had some soya milk. And as I said, it could be almond milk as well. But this mixture has coconut milk. Let's see if we can taste the difference for those people who are omnivores. All right, so as I said, I'm not filling the ladle right up because I kind of want them to be roughly around the same size. Okay. And then the non-vegans can taste which one if the egg, it makes the texture any different. And as I said, this is not just crepes, but you could actually add a banana to this, right? You just said that. Wonderful. And actually make pancakes. Bright people in the room. And have a nice breakfast pancake, right? That's gluten-free. Real food is a key. You know, in this environment, people get confused as to what real food is. I call them edible products. The things on the supermarket shelves. They're to me just edible products because, you know, for them to sit on the shelf for so long, they have to be stripped of some of those natural oils that will help encourage spoilage. And so what you find is that they strip the foods. So all the scientists are hired by these big food companies, and their purpose is to make food addictive. Their objective is to get you hooked to food, so you just keep buying and buying. They're not concerned about the nutritional value of food, you know. And then they put things to confuse you on the label, like fat-free with something that doesn't have any fat in it in the beginning, right? Right? So these are some beets that I have pickled, and we're going to be utilizing it as a condiment. So these are just regular beets, they're not cooked. So if you notice, I'm using different, there's no ketchup, there's no condiment from the jar. These are all condiments are freshly made. So this is the pineapple salsa. All that is fresh pineapple, diced with some red onions. It could be white onions as well. I like the color that the red onions give though, right? And a little sweet pepper, and some lemon juice, and some olive oil, and I think just a little bit of scotch bonnet, just for a little kick. And I think that's it, right? The next thing beside it is some hummus. So we're going to be using the hummus like as a spread, okay? So rather than mayonnaise or something, you can utilize hummus. And hummus is, we use chickpeas, right? Blended it with some olive oil. Hannah, Laura, you help me with that. What was in there? Some paprika. I normally put cumin in mine, right? Oops, garlic, lots of garlic, okay? Lemon juice, as I said before, you blend it or you can crush it, right? And you make a paste. So rather than having mayonnaise or something, you just spread that to moisten your bread or your wrap and use it as a glue for the other ingredients. And so you're basically building, we're going to be building your own wrap today, okay? So who wants to start building? This is some beets that have been pickled.
It's a quiet.
You like that? Awesome. All right.
Coming up, Stacy continues to discuss her role as a nutrition therapist.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
If you're just joining us, we've been discussing nutrition therapy with health coach Stacey Aiken. We've already been coached on what to look for when dealing with salt and sugar intakes, and we're about to wrap things up.
What are some new findings in nutrition science?
Well, there's one thing I'm excited about in nutrition science, and it's really health science. It's the whole issue of probiotics. So probiotics are bacteria that promote life. Pro means for, and biotic is referring to life. So within our bodies, within our whole system, we have an ecology that is made up of millions or some trillions of microbial cells. These are cells that belong to other organisms other than ourselves. So there's a recognition that as humans, we're really only 10% human if you think about it, because we have so many more times the microbial cells than human cells within our body. And we find that our gut, this area, the intestinal area, has about, on average, 3 pounds, they say, 2 to 3 pounds of bacteria that are there, that are beneficial for our health. Now, what has happened is because a lot of people, we eat a lot of processed foods, we tend to be very, very hygienic. So rather than picking the mango directly from the tree, we're having it after it has been washed with some chlorine and waxed and all of that. So the natural probiotics that are normally found on food, right, are not there anymore. So you find that we don't have enough of those beneficial bacteria that reside in our gut. So you find that people may have digestive concerns, they may have bloating and gastrointestinal issues, and scientists have been finding that it's linked to our probiotic profile. And so probiotics are those bacteria that are beneficial to our health. And where do you find those? So in fermented foods. So for instance, in natural yogurt. If you notice, there's a catchphrase on the label, probiotics, right? Well, if a yogurt is cultured, meaning if it's a natural yogurt, it will have probiotics in there. So it's not necessarily something that's added. A lot of things, for instance, other foods are fermented foods like vegetables. We don't have a lot of that in Jamaica. It's not our culture to eat fermented foods, but in other areas of the world, you have things like sauerkraut and other fermented vegetables. Kimchi, exactly, which is an Asian vegetable, cabbage that is pickled and fermented. Now, some of these processes are natural, where it's actually sat and cured. Others are really just a brine, like vinegar they've added. So you also have to be careful when you look at things like kimchi. It may not be a fermented kimchi, for instance. Tofu is also a product that can be fermented as well. So different types of products are fermented. So health professionals and scientists have been finding out just how important it is to add these cultured foods to our diet. In our Jamaican culture, we do have fermented beverages. I don't think we recognize them as much. Some of those root tonics that some members of our communities will create these beverages with roots, and we allow them to sit for a long time. I think science is recognizing just how important these things are to our health. There's a recognition that health begins in the gut. So if you have a healthy gut, meaning if you have a healthy profile of microorganisms, such as probiotics, your health will actually be improved. So what they've actually started doing for quite a while now, but I think it's becoming more popular as the science is becoming more explored, that these cultures are actually being made in labs. So they've identified the bacteria that are beneficial to our gut, and they've actually grown them in labs, freeze-dried them, put them in pills, so you can actually take a probiotic supplement if you're not aware.
So Stacey, we've had a wonderful day here today.
Yes, we certainly have.
What are some tips that you can recommend for people who do want to, live a healthier lifestyle, foods?
Well, the first tip is to drink more water. I find that we just don't drink enough water, and if we drink water, it will reduce the amount of sugary beverages that we intake throughout the day. Water is very cleansing. This is something that I do every morning. I start my morning with a glass of lemon water. It's very cleansing for the body. It activates the liver, it activates the digestive system, and it's just really, really beneficial. So water, I can't stress that enough. drink water. People tend not to drink enough water. They're dehydrated and they tend to go for the sugary beverage rather than drinking water, which is what the body is calling for. You know, another thing I would tell people, another tip would be when looking at labels, because not everybody is going to be eating whole foods all the time. So if you're shopping and you plan to eat something that's, you know, is in a package, read the label. The labels are there for a reason. And I find that if the ingredients on the label, if they're hard to pronounce, or if it's a name that is so long that you can't recognize, you might want to think twice, because those things are generally chemicals and additives that may have a negative impact on our bodies. So, and if the list is this thick on something that should only contain sugar and eggs and maybe some sugar, then I would have to think twice about it. So labels, reading labels, nutritional labels, information is right there. Another thing with labels is that sometimes people tend to have the whole bag of whatever they're eating. Even though the label may say 2.5 servings, you tend to have a bag of something and you think that that's one serving. So when you read the label, you may even misread the label. So if you're very sensitive about putting on weight, and for those people who may be watching their caloric intake, so if you see something that is 200 calories and neglect to realize that the label says 2.5 serving in this bag and eat the entire bag, then you would be misled into thinking that you've probably had your calorie requirement, but you haven't because you didn't read the label properly.
So talk to us about future plans in regards to your health coaching.
Okay, so health coaching has evolved for me this year. I plan to do more workshops. We're here in lovely Old Fort Bay at Villa Esperanza for a women's retreat today. So this is going to be just one of many to come, where we're immersing ladies in an environment of like-mindedness to nourish their bodies and their minds. I've partnered with a life coach, Keisha and Dawn, and together we're called True Dragonflies. And so we're going to be bringing you a lot more of these events and workshops, cooking demonstrations and talks. And so just, you know, there's just so much happening right now, and there's so much opportunity. People are eager for this information and in different forms. So we're just preparing ourselves and preparing myself to just be a vessel and be a conduit for wonderful health and wellness tips.
So let's say someone wants to contact you about, you know, health coaching. How do they reach you?
Okay, well, right now I work with Dermacare, which is located at Unit 4, Winchester Business Center. So they can call Dermacare and make an appointment with me to see me there for a consultation. As well as you can contact me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Stacey Aiken Health Coaching, where I put a lot of my tips and articles and new research and recipes and resources like that. So those are the places you can contact me.
So thank you, Stacey. I've learned a whole lot today, and I think you've reinforced things that I already know, but I probably should put into practice. So guys, keep drinking your water and read your labels. You've watched The Good Life, and I'll let Stacey have the last word.
Okay, so these are famous words from Michael Pollan. It says, eat food, not too much, mainly plants and vegetables. Have a good week, guys. Thank you.
This concludes our two-part episode on food therapy. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next week, keep living the good life.